The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Thanks so much for kicking off your trading day right here with me on the Morning Market Kickoff. And we kick things off this morning with a little bit of mixed volatility in both directions. How about it? We got the S&Ps right now. You're positive by 7 points, but we got a little bit of a give back right now. You talk about some volatility this morning. You get the S&Ps. We're up by 18 points. We were all the way up at 53.70 in the early hours, and that is following the negative price action on Chairman Powell yesterday. You put it in context, the market actually got it all back, right? We trade from 53.61, down 100 points, up 100 points. Now, during the trading day versus the overnight session, all trading not created equally is one way to say it, but it's again an illustration, folks, okay? If you're trading this market, I encourage you, no matter where you are, to get your stops in. Don't let your stops run against you. If you're bullish or you're bearish, in the last 24 hours, you had a 100-point run on your side, right? Now, overnight, not the same thing, okay? But you see the moves in both directions in this market. Do not let the losses run against you. There's no reason when you have this type of movement when you get it right in the market. If you do, and you will if you're trading enough, folks, okay? NASDAQ 100, positive by 100 points. But yeah, how much did we just give back? Almost 200. You see the move, right? 200 points from highs to low, and identical almost that we almost get it all back. And this is where, folks, technicals, right? I love fundamentals. I talk about fundamentals all the time, but I love technicals too. You can love both of them, okay? Where did the market top out at? Right at 130 yesterday. Now, yeah, it's an area, okay? You did make it slightly higher, almost 50 points. But with the volatility we have going in this market right now, 50 points in the NASDAQ 100 is not letting the market run against you, folks. That's 0.25% in the NASDAQ 100 almost. When you're talking about moving 1, 2, 3%. 3% yesterday was the number. Nonetheless, we look at price and volume. And here's what's interesting, okay? This bar, let's back it up on the NASDAQ 100. This has been leading everything. You're talking about highs, basically general area, okay? The spike high there was 16,767. We're only about 10% from that level, okay? And that's right where we were on that acceleration prior to the 90-day reprieve. Now, what's so remarkable is you put this thing on a daily, and there it is, right? Almost to the tick. Okay, now, yeah, you made it slightly lower than there. But you look at the volume, okay? What do we have? We're rolling over, and we have volume picking up again. I've been talking about it. This is a textbook case, literally textbook case, okay, of quality volume to the downside in this market, folks, and nothing has changed. You got volume off the lows, but it's still, that day, Wednesday, think about it, that 90-day reprieve was only the third highest volume day of the previous 4 days, right? You did more volume on April 4th. You did more volume on April 7th. You did catch a bounce there, but the biggest volume day was April 4th. Nonetheless, you see the volume beginning to accelerate. Today's going to be an important day. We're coming into a long weekend. Markets closed for Good Friday, Easter weekend. So where is everybody going to position themselves ahead of 3 days, coming into a market that was a little worried yesterday about Chairman Powell, and we have a little bit of a rollover already going on again this morning. All right, we jump over to the Dow. Yeah, the Dow's not getting saved this morning. Check it out, man. Whew. You talk about it, man. And that's going to be UNH, folks, okay? We're talking about in the den, and check this out. $120 to the downside, okay? Now, I always talk about the price-weighted index of the Dow makes no sense whatsoever, okay? And that's because expensive stocks have a disproportionate impact on the Dow. Well, guess what? United Health trading at $600 is going to have an outstanding disproportionate impact on the Dow today. Okay, they cut their annual forecast, reported its first earnings miss in more than a decade. Yeah. Insurers. They're looking for trouble, and there you go. Insurers fell short of earnings estimate for the first time, and that's an adjusted earnings surprise. But, folks, this is just an expectation surprise, okay? Adjusted earnings are still going to be $26 a share. They were thinking it was going to be $29, so expectations are everything. But you look at a chart like this, you say, man, maybe insurance companies really are in trouble. That's not what I see from this, okay? Yeah, they were forecasting wrong. All right, you jump over to the Analyze tab, and you're talking about a company that's still valued at almost $500 billion. Okay, plenty of money still in insurance, just not as much money as we thought yesterday. They're the largest seller of Medicare Advantage health plans. Our activity in those plans rising beyond what was expected. Unanticipated changes in the healthcare delivery business that are affecting reimbursements is what they're talking about. Yeah, both segments been hit by Medicare payment changes that the government made to crack down on tactics insurers use to boost their revenue. You better believe it, man. Okay? And that's where, folks, the politics side of thing, there's always nuance. There's, even if you're upset about what Trump's doing, you love what Trump's doing, okay? Of course there's fraud everywhere. In the insurance industry, it is ripe with fraud everywhere. I'll tell you something, okay? All right, we'll wait for the first. We'll go into some of those insurances. I mean, it was a year ago, folks, April 8th. Can you believe it? A year ago that I had surgery for a brain tumor. If you went around back then, yeah. Big old brain tumor, thankfully benign. Just a tumor, grew in my brain, but I've had enough history. Okay, you're talking about MRIs, you're talking about reimbursements. Thankfully, I have good health care. I was fortunate to always have decent health care when something like this popped up. Okay, but I've lived a few of them, and it is remarkable when you look at how difficult things are to get reimbursements, and then you look at the fraud that takes place, and that is why sometimes, right? But nonetheless, UNH, how about that one, man? Hoo-wee. Now, whatever they're saying on the conference call, got a $15 run, but yeah, the market's freaked out, man, and they should be on this equity, because a lot of those profits would be borderline criminal, and I'm being kind. When you look at, and we've talked about it on this program many times, okay? They create diagnoses to overbill the government, which is taxpayer. It's rampant. And yeah, there's going to be some changes, and there's fraud everywhere. Doesn't mean you shut down everything completely, which is that fine line, okay? But nonetheless, you see a hit, man, $100, just like that. We're going to open at $485, which is remarkable. We're still going to be positive from where you were in February. Okay, but boy, looks like 438. We got volume at the lows. And what's going to stop this thing from heading there? I don't know. We're at 485 right now. You put this thing on a longer-term time frame, and boy, it's a dicey area. Okay, you want to see where we are? Let's put it on a line right now. You're basically testing the lows that we've been at since 2021. All right? You're talking about hitting that area in December 2021. UNH, you're going to open right at that blue line. And you can see that is an area, man. You break below there, where are we going? Where are we going? There's not a lot of support in UNH below this. I'm not saying we are, but that's a nice area. If you want to watch this equity, man, you trade below there. Where are we going? And look at that double top, right? You trade lower, trade higher. We hit 606, and boom. Just like that, we're trading at 485. All right, folks, we're coming back. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 3 minutes. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. We get the S&P is positive by 21 this morning. We got about 12 minutes to go until the opening bell. NASDAQ 100 up by 119, and the Dow getting clobbered from UNH when you got a $600 equity trading lower. And I'm just jumping around to the Dow. Okay, because here's a list real quick. For just a quick glimpse, okay? United Health is down 100, but you were at 585. This is, if you're trading the Dow, you better be a big believer in UNH, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Home Depot, Visa, Sherwin-Williams, okay? And then you get to the bottom of that list, and you're talking about companies like Walmart, NVIDIA, the 23rd, weighted at only $100. Makes no sense, folks. All right, I always say if somebody was assigned an assignment, if you were assigned a homework assignment in high school, probably even middle school, maybe even grade school, okay, and the teacher said, I want you to come up with an idea of how we are going to weight this index, right? And you said, well, we're just going to use the share price to weight the index. The teacher would look at you like you had three eyes, and they'd go, the share price has nothing to do with the market capitalization or worth of it. Yeah. Makes no sense, but you're seeing the reaction today with the Dow off 1.1%. Whew. All right. And then, so you think the Fed has independence? Give Trump a chance. Termination can't come soon enough. You better believe everything's in play, folks, okay? And this is where everybody doesn't want to get political. there's no way it's in the best interest that politics control interest rate policy. It's always going to be a push and pull. Okay, there's always going to be a battle. Okay, and you have the ability to get rid of that person for cause, but everything is changing. And you got Trump out there, okay, saying Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. Yeah. You better believe that if somehow Trump is running the interest rate game, along with everything else going on, that somehow the economic turmoil taking place is going to be remedied by the president controlling where interest rates go. You can believe that if you want. And we're all making opinions right now. Okay, you can question my opinion. The market is not going to like that, folks. Okay, the market is not going to like that. Any president, okay, that's what you got to do. You got to extrapolate things in future policies that you might not agree with the person. You love Trump, you think it's a great idea because he's going to control it, that's great. What happens in 4 or 8 years when you don't agree with the person that's going to be the political leader of the country, even if it's a Republican or a Democrat, right? I don't understand how you get the support for that type of deal, okay? Yeah. And, you know, it's you go back to give him a chance, okay? And we're now at the point that there's a lot of stuff there that would have blown people's minds in the early days, folks, okay? There's a lot of great stuff going on, too. Doesn't mean you have to be okay with everything, and I hope this one gets some pushback, because you go out 10, 20, 30 years, and there's no way that the president controlling the termination of the Fed chairman and controlling interest rate policy at the same time that you have unilateral control for tariffs, which is under question as well, okay? The reasoning for those tariffs getting challenged in legal courts as well. And then at the same time, you have an attack on the judges. So do it all together and extrapolate it out. But yeah, this is going to reverberate today. You better believe it, man. He's always too late and wrong. Always too late and wrong? Have you looked at the economy lately, folks? Have you looked at where stock prices were before the trade war began? Has anybody? Have we looked at unemployment recently? Yeah, we had inflation. Okay. But I thought that was the Democrats. Pick your argument. It can't be everything, man. Okay? We do not want a president controlling the overnight lending rate for obvious reasons. And we'll put it there. Now, what you have here today is, the ECB. They're cutting interest rates. What happened to American exceptionalism, folks? The reason why Europe's in trouble, they're cutting rates, is because of American exceptionalism. Oh, now we're going to cut rates too? What happens on the flip side of that? Okay? But yeah, ECB, they cut rates to counter the threat from the tariffs. We got weakness out there. Okay? But you better believe, if that happens, okay, the market will react, and not in a good way, folks. Okay, the whims of the president, when you're talking about running the FOMC, that's in a level of uncertainty that I don't think even the market is pricing in just yet. And if it starts pricing it in, watch out. Now, you look at where the target interest rates are, the Fed's going to get there, right? But they're not there just yet. And you saw the pause from Chairman Powell yesterday, right? They're taking their time. And folks, can you blame them for taking their time when you have rampant tariffs everywhere and then you have a reprieve for 90 days instantly? How is the Federal Reserve supposed to set policies when that type of volatility exists in the mainstream? That's the really tough part that is being sidestepped as you just say, come on, cut rates, man. I don't know. You wake up every day and we're pressing new ground, folks. All right, let's jump back to the market. We jump around to yields. We got a little bit of higher price, lower yields right now. Coming back to right where we were yesterday, you're talking about a 10-year at about 4.29. 4.29 the 10-year, and you jump over to the dollar, just chopping around at 99.46. Somewhat near the lows of yesterday. 99.40 was the low yesterday intraday. You got a little bit lower in the aftermarket, but we got dollar weakness out there. All right, we jump to gold. So, Back on a daily. Yeah, I even put a pre-market. 33.71 we hit. That was right after the close last night, 33.71. Some volatility overnight still. Gold trading off $8 right now at $3,337. You jump over to silver. Slightly in the red by 1.5%, trading at 32.48 right now. We check out copper. Quite a run yesterday as well. On a longer-term basis, that's your trading range right there. You're going back to the highs we had in July of 24, the highs we had in September, October of 24. We're right back to where you chopped around in February. And yeah, we got a nice bounce from that $4 area. So if you're looking at copper, we're in the trading range right now from about $4, and we're right at the upper boundary, which is at about $4.70 on copper. All right, folks, we're coming back. Today's going to be an interesting day in the markets. Thursday trading. Markets closed for a long weekend tomorrow, and we got volatility with the Dow getting hammered by UNH. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming right back.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. And we got UNH down about 18% to kick off the trading session, $105 to the downside, man. Watch out for that. And as I said, you're coming into a critical area here. All right, this bar we're talking about in the blue, that brings us all the way back, folks, to where we were in 2021, December. We've been chopping around at that level since then. We pushed 630, we pushed 600, and we're at 480 right now. 450 is your line in the sand for UNH. If you're looking for a bounce, man, set your stops. 450. And, talking about Powell, and it's great points. Dorothy makes some great points, man. Does the president have unilateral power? That's a great, hey, he's got immunity. He's got grand power. But I challenge you to look at the past, folks, okay? The reason why you want an independent Fed, okay, and you do want an independent Fed, you do. The reason why you want an independent Fed is that no politician in their right mind is ever going to want to raise interest rates. Did you get that? No politician in their right mind is ever going to want to raise interest rates. Period. But where's the end game? Why is that the best way? You understand? Like the government is for the people, of the people. These are decisions that were made. You can challenge anything in court. That's the one thing we know. Tell me why that's the best thing. Why are we supporting that argument versus supporting the argument that you can have an independent Fed because the president can always fire them for cause, okay? And, supporting that there is an argument while saying that you're not supporting the argument being made, there's a fine line of nuance, okay? I get it. But it just clears the room for arguing against. So tell me why that would be a good thing and why we shouldn't be supporting that the Fed is independent, that was created by Congress, and the president has the right to fire that person. And this Fed chair was actually put in place by President Trump. That's the kicker of it all. Okay? You want an independent Fed, folks. You go through history. That's why we want an independent Fed. And boy, recency bias is everything. It's a hellish job. Okay? Nobody gets recognition there because, of course, always the pressure is to the downside. Always the pressure is to cut. You have to disassociate from politics when you talk about certain policies like that. And again, there's always the ability to fire the Fed chairman for cause, but not just because you disagree and you always want interest rates lower. Folks, the president's a real estate investor, okay? And somehow we've sidestepped the whole area of conflicts of interest, but let's bring it back up. The president's a real estate investor. He's got vast amounts of real estate, okay? Vast amounts of real estate, yeah. So in this president, we're going to have now the conversation that he's the one that should be able to control interest rates when he doesn't take away his financial conflicts of interest as a real estate investor. And he's saying that the Federal Reserve should be terminated so that he can lower interest rates. Doesn't really compute, folks. Okay? Doesn't really compute. And you can make the case that they can make the case without trying to make the case that you're making the case, but you're making the case. Okay? These are things that have been settled. Everybody said give Trump a chance. And now, when they said give Trump a chance, right, did they say just give him a chance because we'll let him keep all his real estate holdings and then we'll let him say that he might terminate the Fed, as we have. Yeah, we have cases going through in independent agencies where Trump is making the case that he's going to be able to fire that Fed. He can't do it without the support of his supporters, though, folks. Okay? Anything is possible regardless of the law if you have enough support. That's the dicey part. So if you're out there making the case that the president has the right to do this, but you don't agree with it, you're supporting that to make it happen. Okay? Government and democracy does not protect itself. We now have a president who has vast ownership in real estate that wants to terminate the Fed. He has many supporters making the case that he can do that, and he wants to bring interest rates down at that time that he's putting in place tariffs that could be inflationary. Okay? I think I've said enough. NASDAQ, we give it up on the open right now. Uh-oh. We got the NASDAQ 100 down 150 points, trading lower at 18,404. I say trading lower. We just gave up 250 points from where we were at the highs. S&P's off by 12. If you follow the price and volume like I kicked it off in the beginning of the show, folks, that was our first spike higher yesterday. In volume. That is, we roll over and we get a spike in volume of 1.483 million contracts. We only did 1.1 the prior day. Today's going to be an important day. And boy, UNH is going to be weighing on this market. Down 17.5%, trading at 482 for UNH. Yeah, and those are really the headlines coming in. All right, let's check out that gold contract. 33.38 right now. We jump around to some of the Magnificent Seven as we open. Apple shares slightly in the green by about 0.5% right now. Amazon slightly in the red, a little divergence, down 0.5% right now. Microsoft up 0.2% right now. Google shares up 0.5% right now. We jump over to NVIDIA. No release from their pain just yet. NVIDIA off by 1%. Whew, we're up to 106. You're at 103. Caught quite an acceleration. Z in the den. Hockey stick save in the final 30 minutes. Great call, man. Folks, if you're not in the den, get in that den. And that was great, Z. I saw you post that at about 3:30. And that was right at the beginning of that run. And it was a hockey stick save, man. As in, things were looking pretty dire. And you talk about a save, right? NVIDIA trades up $4. Folks, that's a $100 billion market cap it got back in the last half hour of trading. Huge moves across the board. All right, we check out Bitcoin, trading near 85,000. We take a look at the weekly right now. Bitcoin, nice pullback to the 618. That's where you got to on that pullback last week. We had volume at those lows. We caught a little bit of a bid. Bitcoin chopping around at 84,660 so far this morning. Let's check out some of the banks. JP Morgan, back to a 15-minute. We're up by about 0.9%. You jump over to Bank of America, up by 0.5% right now. Citi, basically flat. Wells Fargo, trading up by 1% right now. Goldman Sachs, up 0.3%. Morgan, up 0.8%. Let's check out those airlines. Delta flat. United, down about 0.5% right now. And JetBlue, yeah. Whew, that is a rough-looking chart. We jump over to Hertz. So Pershing Square Capital. Look at this thing again. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. You do it again. Look at this. This is why people love buying momentum, man. You're up another 30% from yesterday. So what happened? Did anything else even happen? Or is this just the same deal going on? So you have Pershing Square Capital. I think it was about $48 million that they bought into. And yeah, that's just an extension of volume and volatility yesterday. Got to be nice when you make an investment of $4 and all you got to do is tell the world you made that investment and it almost doubles overnight. Not bad. Stay tuned, folks. Markets in the green. We'll come right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the Opening Call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, and we got the market negative by, Dow negative by 466, but market's positive. S&Ps were up by 18 right now. NASDAQ 100 up by 55 right now. Sorry, as I was jumping around. Where was I? Okay, that's what I wanted to. So check this out in the Dow, right? And I posted this a week ago in the Den, just talking about the amazing price-weighted nature of the Dow. Okay, so you have UNH today down $105. Okay, $105. Well, Goldman Sachs is a $500 equity as well. Okay, they're in the Dow. Yeah, but when you look on the flip side of that, okay, here's one way to look at it. And I ran this comparison because Goldman Sachs at a $500 price is only $156 billion market cap, okay? Now, I'm just going to give you the numbers when I ran them on April 9th, 8 days ago, folks, okay? Goldman Sachs is up a lot over those 8 days. It was trading at $139 billion market cap, but check this out. A week ago, so basically right now, this is how to look at it. A company like Goldman Sachs, which trades at $500, I know we always talk about this, but you just got to realize how bonkers the Dow really is of how they compile that index, okay? Goldman Sachs, a $139 billion company, has the same price-weighted influence in the Dow as Amazon, Apple, and NVIDIA combined. The market cap of those three companies, this is a week ago, so things have changed, $6.8 trillion. So you have a company, Goldman Sachs, which has a $139 billion market cap, having the same influence as the three companies I mentioned, Amazon, Apple, and NVIDIA, which have a market cap of $6.8 trillion. Goldman Sachs trades at $450. You had Apple at $177, Amazon at $171, and NVIDIA at $100. Identical. Makes no sense whatsoever, okay? You'd get a big old F in whatever class assigned that, and yeah, so keep that in mind when you're trading the Dow in particular. That's all I encourage you. S&P, NASDAQ, of course they make sense, but it never, and on days like today, you see why. If you're ever trading the Dow, you better be paying attention to, like I said, UNH, Goldman Sachs, any other high-priced, and the bummer is there. If you're a big fan of Apple, Amazon, and NVIDIA, and you're buying the Dow, you're buying the wrong thing, man, because those three equities are going to have the same influence one equity does, Goldman Sachs. Crazy, right? That's it. Okay. Let's jump around a little bit and see what else we got going on. So, Eli Lilly. Talk about these healthcare stocks. How about this one? up by 16%. They got a phase 3 trial for a pill to treat weight loss and diabetes. The holy grail going on right now, right? So check this one out. Daily obesity pill met the company's goals in the first of several closely watched late-stage trials. It helped type 2 diabetes patients lower their blood sugar. Folks, body weight is just everything. I remember I talked to my own primary, right? I remember talking to him like a year or two ago. It's just common sense, okay? And listen, I can lose a few pounds, okay? But it's common sense. I sent him, blood pressure or something, and I was dealing with health issues at the time. So saying, when you talk about blood pressure, he said, no, if you lose blood sugar, I forget, maybe it's blood sugar. Yeah, I think it was blood sugar. That's what it was. He said, you lose like 10, 20 pounds, and my blood sugar isn't, dangerously high. But just talking to him, I said, how much does it matter? Does 10 or 20 pounds? And I love this doctor I have, just a primary, but great guy. Dr. Moon. I'll bring him up. We'll give him a shout out. Great guy around me. If you're in the Lakeland area, folks, great doctor for sure. Love this guy. And he said, no, you lose 10, 20 pounds, man, right away. You can see it in the numbers. I said, really, 10 or 20 pounds? Because 20 pounds, that's 2 months for a lot of people of just eating right, the changes you can make. I was surprised, but it makes sense, right? It is like everything. And you look at the food we have, and boy, in having Tommy, having a kid, right? It's amazing how much sugar is in everything. So what I really try to look for him is trying to decrease the processed foods, okay? You don't have to go ballistic and go hardline on everything, okay? There's going to be foods out there. Snacks are okay. It's consistency that matters, but added sugar. There is so much added sugar in everything, folks. You look at it yourself, added sugar. That's the one, especially added processed sugars. They're just not normal foods. And I go on this diatribe, right? How does it happen? But yeah, you better believe that you lose that type of weight. Type 2 diabetes is going to matter. But the Eli Lilly, the highest dose of the pill helped patients lose 8% of their weight, or about 16 pounds after 40 weeks. That's a big number, like I just told you. Okay, now there's been bigger numbers out there, but that's going to have an effect when you talk about 20 pounds. Now, when we're talking about UNH, right? Check out, I have had tumors, okay? I had a brain tumor. You should have seen how difficult it is to get anything, folks. And that's where when I had that happen, I came on a year ago, and I said, you got to take basically responsibility for yourself, because nobody else in the healthcare sector will. And it's not the workers that you're calling on the phone, okay? It's the setup. There's too many people that are in there fighting for the same services on many occasions, and you have the insurance providers trying to provide you a wall at every aspect they can, okay? I've wanted to get MRIs before, and I have had these tumors. For some reason, I got benign tumors that can pop up. Thankfully, got the one out of my brain. I'm doing well. But even with a history like that, I have to fight tooth and nail just to get an MRI after my primary doctor approves me for it, folks. My doctor approves me for it, and they want to run you through a series of smaller tests before they approve the bigger test. This is my primary doctor saying, I need an MRI. This patient has had tumors before that are benign. I believe he has another tumor from the symptoms, and I want him to get that MRI. And they say, no, we don't want him to do that. They say, we want him to first go for an ultrasound, and then we want to get those results, and then we'll think about approving him on the other side. And that's just the smallest clue that I could give you of everything. Now, here's the other kicker, right? MRIs. So, if you ever need an MRI, folks, I encourage you to call everywhere you can, because my history, so I needed a brain MRI, all right? And I'm jumping around, okay? Yeah, good for you, who I gotta love it, man. 20 pounds, man. It can be, it is a life changer, which is crazy, because it doesn't seem like a lot, but it can be monumental. And that's awesome, man. Then you feel great, right? The MRIs, okay? When I first had to call around to try and I had symptoms in my eyesight. I wanted to get an MRI. I wanted to get one quickly. Folks, I called 5, 6, 7 MRI clinics around Florida. Okay, I already had a script to get my MRI. I just needed to find a place that could see me. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I called Moffitt Cancer Center just for their MRIs. 2 months out, they were booking. I had to make 10, 12. I almost gave up. Made about 12 calls. Each call, I had to give them all my information. I had to give them my insurance, my address, the type of MRI I needed, and then they'd finally tell me when that availability would happen, okay? I'll finish this up because finally I found somewhere that was available the next day, but we'll talk a little bit more. UNH down 19%.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Folks, UNH down 19%. It's a great conversation, all right? And Darth, you make some great points, all right? It is obviously you got a third-party payer insurance, okay? There's always going to be the pushback for the third-party payer to the provider of those services. But it's not a push and pull, okay? And this is my pushback, okay? It's not a push or pull because one entity makes all the decisions, and that's the insurer. And there's no push or pull when they say they're not covering it, okay? And it's a constant battle, but this is how far it goes, folks. I needed an MRI after my brain surgery, okay? My primary care doctor wrote me the script for it. I had brain surgery within the last year. I needed another MRI, okay? And they wouldn't approve it for me, even with my history, surgical history, benign tumor history. They wouldn't approve it for me unless I went and got an ultrasound first. I appealed that decision. They wouldn't do it. And I wasn't going to wait 3 or 4 weeks, folks, because fortunately I have the ability to pay the cash price, which was $400, okay? So what I did was I said, screw it. I'm going to pay the $400, man. I need this MRI. I know I do. Okay, I got it done. And Blue Cross Blue Shield, who's been a pretty good healthcare provider for me, when the surgeries I have, that does get, but you see the impediment that gets put up, okay? And there was no recourse whatsoever. And I was in pain at the time. My doctor said I needed it, and they said, no, we want him to go get an ultrasound first. Then we want to get those results first. Then we'll consider those results, and then we'll approve him for an MRI. Okay? So you can make theoretical arguments, but put yourself in a position if you don't have $400 to pay for that. You pay for insurance every month, okay? Good insurance that I've paid for 20 plus years on Blue Cross. Private insurance I've paid for 20 plus years. And they tell me that I'm in pain, but they want me to get an ultrasound. Okay, there's no push or pull there, folks. And that is a problem. But guess what? There's also fraud everywhere. You can have both for sure. UNH down by almost 20%, man. Oof. All right, S&P's up by 23. Folks, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy your Good Friday off. And stay tuned. Our man Basil Chapman, he's coming up next. Thanks so much for kicking off your day right here, folks, at TFNN. Stay tuned, and I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend, folks.